Good evening, everybody. My name is Nathaniel J. Carrasco. I'm the founder of Sky Media Ventures, and today is a very special day as I publish for the very first time our first podcast, and I'm very excited that it was actually with Kenson Jean Charles, great friend of mine, a financial advisor that sometimes I lean to, and he just had so much gold to say in this podcast. Quick 20-minute episode, and I think you guys are going to enjoy a lot of value that you're going to hear. So thank you for following. Bye-bye.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sky Media Ventures podcast, episode 2. And today we have the ambitious Kenson Jean Charles. Welcome to the show, Kenson.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I drafted up a little introduction. So, hey, Kenson Jean Charles, he's a young and hungry entrepreneur. Yeah, he serves Palm Beach County in the areas of personal finance, retirement planning, universal index plans, and really much more. And so, Kenson, once again, just welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Like I said, thank you for having me, man. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking forward to this all week, and right before this, I had a meeting with a client. So I was like, man, I need to make sure we solidify this episode right now.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Kenson, do us a favor if you don't mind. Can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and just a little overview of what you do?
Absolutely, yeah. So I was born and raised in Haiti. Well, I don't know if you want to say raised, but I moved to Florida back in 2008. Been here ever since. I have 3 brothers, 2 sisters. Obviously, I went to school down here. And at first, I studied computer science.
Okay.
So I went to school for computer science. My goal was to just get in and out. I respect other people's opinions of school, but me, I just wanted to get in and out of school. Just wanted to do something very quick. So I did something for 2 years. Realized that wasn't something that I wanted to do long term. And then I got into financial services. And I know we'll get into that later, but one of the main reasons I got into this industry is because I saw the need for financial education.
Yes.
And growing up in a Haitian household, finances, money, that wasn't really a conversation that we talked about. So sure. I saw that need, and it made me come into financial services.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. So you're kind of like a trailblazer in your family per se,
Correct.
Oh, that's awesome,
Correct.
man.
Yep.
Hey, there's a first time for anything, for everything. And just before the show, we said, hey, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to at least
start to be great.
Right.
That's
awesome. That's awesome.
Absolutely, man.
And so I'm curious. You chose personal finance, and you brought up a good point. A lot of people need better financial literacy.
Correct.
That's a big thing. I was part of a venture when I was 19, 20, 21, where the company I was representing at the time, we were selling personal development information and financial literacy information, because if they knew better information, they'd be able to make wiser decisions.
That's correct.
So no, I absolutely love that passion of yours.
Yep.
And so what led you into personal finance? Like, what led you into that route?
Great question. Like I said, growing up in a Haitian household, man, it wasn't something that was talked about. It wasn't really something that was focused on. And, right now I work at a bank, and obviously I'm doing my business on a part-time basis, building it. The goal is to, open up multiple offices so that way I can increase my impact in my community. And whenever I sit down with clients, man, especially clients that come from my background, they don't know how to budget. There's times where they don't know where their money is going. They're not investing. They're not really preparing for retirement. So that's an issue. That's a very big problem. And it's not just in the Haitian community. It's in all communities as a whole. And I just saw an opportunity, man, to serve people. Because I believe the more people that you serve, you come from a genuine place, you serve more people, you're going to make a lot of money.
Sure.
You're going to make a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the reason I got into personal finance.
That's amazing. I love that mindset. When we had a former president of the United States say, hey, I think this could be out the Bible, but it says the greatest among you is your the one who's the servant who's
Yep.
serving all.
Exactly.
So that's awesome, man.
Exactly, man.
Man, that's I could kind of relate to you being the first one in your family to kind of go out on that entrepreneurial journey, and then personal finance. I have sisters who definitely went entrepreneurial first. However, I was the first one to go to college, so that's a little daunting at first. When you're the first one to set the example, it's a lot. It could be a blessing.
Yeah,
It'd be a
definitely.
blessing.
It could get scary because it's like the path is not as clear. There's no foundation really laid out yet.
Yeah.
And it's like you're the one laying that foundation.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Kenson, I want to ask you. I know. Well, let me ask you about your business. Can you tell us the services that you render for the audience?
Absolutely, yeah. So the realm of finance that I do life insurance and retirement planning. I help out my clients with annuities. If my clients need help with their debt, we can also help them solve their debt. But we mainly focus on life insurance and retirement planning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Life insurance and
Retirement planning.
retirement plan. Gotcha. Correct. And then you got me hooked up on a cool index life or index what's
Universal life.
Universal life
That is
plan.
correct.
Yes,
That is
yes.
correct, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll tell the story of how we got connected. I was at work. I think you said you found my business card at what was the name of the restaurant again?
It was a restaurant in Boynton Beach.
Yeah, you found my business card. You reached out to me. We spoke. We never met in person, but when we sat down we met at Starbucks. It was like we're friends, man. Like we're chopping it up. Good vibes. We think very, very alike.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, man. It was a great connection, and I strongly believe that it was God that made that happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man.
Definitely God ordained.
Yeah.
When I met you too, I just remember thinking like, wow, this guy is also a sharp guy. He's on this journey very similar to the same journey that I'm on. So I was like, man, I need more people like Kenson around in my life.
Absolutely, man.
And at the creation of this podcast, I was thinking like, man, who would be a good guest on the show? It was a no-brainer.
Yep.
You know.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Quick question for you. Do you have any mentors in your life, or have you had mentors, and how has that kind of played a part in your life, if you have?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm sorry. So the business that I'm in, man, yeah, I have a lot of mentors. But one of my main mentors, his name is I'm gonna give him a shout out, Frankie Littlejohn. So I started working with Frankie about 3 years ago, and brand new into financial services in the insurance industry, and he kind of took me under his wing. And one thing that I learned, a mentor is a cheat code. A mentor is a cheat code because they've done what you're looking to do. So if you stick right next to them, they'll get you to get to where you want to be quicker.
Right.
And you'll make less mistakes.
Wow. Can you say that again?
Yes. A mentor is a cheat code.
Oh, I'm gonna write that one down for that. That's a great one.
So a mentor is a cheat code, man. I'm extremely grateful for Frankie, man. He's completely changed my life, and I can't wait till we're winning at the highest level together, man. But I'm super grateful for him.
Wow, Frankie seems like a great guy.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy, man. Amazing guy. Very grateful for him.
Sure.
Very grateful for him.
Yeah, it reminds me when I got my first mentor at 19, Nick Delory. He's I still in talks with him today. Just some people they have examples of their life of where they're at, and yes, you want to go there, but then they're also good at helping empower you and helping build your own self up so you have the confidence to go out and do what you want to do. And for example, Nick would say things like, he would say, Nate, you're a leader. Nate, you're a leader. He'd always call me or he'd text me and say, Nate, you're a leader. And I was like, dude, nobody ever would call me a leader. Like growing up, I didn't talk leadership language. I didn't know what that was. But Nick was planting little seeds of greatness in me that I didn't know. And he just kept on saying, Nate, right before he hang up the phone, Nate, you're a leader, bud. And then he'd hang up the phone, and I would feel so great. After I hang up the phone, I'd be fired up and think like, man, he keeps saying it. I think he's right, Yep. And yeah, he definitely like a cheat code,
Yeah,
because they have the results you want,
Yep, absolutely. I'm curious, how did you get connected with Nick?
So Nick is actually my cousin, and we grew up together. However, when I went to go move to Las Vegas, Nevada, We separated, like we didn't hang out, we didn't get connected for like 7-8 years. And while I was going through very turbulent times and just making really tough decisions that were bad decisions, he was building his foundation. And so by the time when we reconnected, I was 19, had terrible results in my life, and he was 23. And I say he was building his first home, 6-figure income, beautiful wife, and he had a company car. And so he had enough external results for me to really trust what he said. And a big part about that is a lot of people see individuals who are on higher plateaus than them, and they'll get jealous. And jealousy is like a statement. You know, that's a statement. But instead of being jealous, I got inspired.
Yep.
And when you get inspired instead of jealous, it's like a question. Now it's like, man, how can I do what this person does?
Exactly.
One's a statement that requires no thinking. The other one is a question that only requires thinking. So I think that's important. When someone's telling you can't do this, that's a statement. You know, if you ask the question, how can I do this? Now it's an intelligent conversation.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know, I appreciate you asking about that.
Of course, man.
Yeah. Hey, let's say an audience member wants to plan for retirement, but they don't know where to start. What is at least a good direction they should go? You know, if they say, hey, the idea of having a nest egg by the time I retire sounds like a good idea, but I've never really talked to anybody about that. Like, what direction would you at least point them to?
Yeah, that's a great question. What I would say, start small, but before you even start, I learned this from my girlfriend, and giving her a shout out as well. It's been our 4-year anniversary.
Nice.
Very grateful for you, babe. I learned so much about just budgeting, and she's a little bit more mature when it comes to finances. So, you know, I learned a lot from her. You got to budget, and when you budget, you have to pay yourself. You have to pay yourself first, right? You pay yourself first. Of course, you got to tithe, right? You got to give some money to God as well. But budget, pay yourself, and just seek a professional like myself that specializes in finances. Just seek somebody that can give you a start, that can point you in the right direction of what things to look out for. For example, Roth IRA, that's a good investment to get into. Obviously, I'll speak about what it says. I don't know if that's...
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. So, Roth IRA, like I said, that's a very good product to start investing into. Of course, I'm going to speak about what I do. Life insurance is also a very good asset that you can start actually building wealth in. A lot of people don't know that, but you can use life insurance to build wealth. A lot of people think life insurance only pays out when you pass away, but no. While you're alive, you have benefits, right? So you can leverage life insurance as well. But just to kind of sum it all up, just seek a professional and just start with something. Start small. You don't have to do anything major. Just start small, but just get started.
Sure.
Just get started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was talking to a mentee before doing this podcast with you, and he was telling me all his ambitions and all these goals he's going to do, and there were so many, and I asked him, like, dude, how do you eat a massive plate of food, you know? And he was thinking about it, and then I told him, one bite at a time, you know, just one bite, you know. By the yard, it's hard, but, you know, inch by inch, it's a cinch, you know.
That's
you know, so same. If you apply that same principle with your retirement, that hey, you don't need a whole lot of money, but you just need to pay yourself first,
correct,
consistently, inch by inch, and then that compound effect over the many years will pay big dividends.
Exactly, absolutely, exactly.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
In your industry, what are some important skills that people need to develop in order to be successful?
Oh, great question. You have to be a student. I think that can go for all industries, but you have to be a student. You have to be curious. That's number one. Be curious. Want to learn. Find a mentor. I think a mentor is very gonna help you. A mentor is gonna help you, but I know you said skill sets. So number one, be curious. Learn sales.
Sure.
You have to get good at sales. Of course, this is sales, right? Learn sales.
And that's because I'm in sales as well.
Right.
Like, what is, if you break down sales a little bit more? What is sales? Because I think some people think it's some, they twinge when they hear it, but other people who are very, very good in the profession, they don't twinge, and like their clients, they love them. So what is sales? Like, what would you consider it?
So sales, I would say, is the act of getting someone to make a decision that they don't know that is going to be beneficial for them.
Okay.
So showing them, guiding them to making a decision that's beneficial for them.
Sure.
Now, we're not looking to manipulate you.
Right.
We're trying to help you make a decision that's going to benefit you.
Sure.
So I think that's sales.
Sure.
That's sales. Yeah.
I've noticed too, to piggyback off that idea, that it could we could also help that process by building a really good relationship.
Exactly.
With your client, and
Exactly.
being win-win oriented versus win-lose.
Exactly.
You don't want to win at your client's expense.
Right.
You don't want to just get them.
Right.
No, you want them to be a client forever,
Yep.
and then you want them, when they think of your industry, to pass you referrals.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
how do you
be
get
transactional?
Yeah, like don't be transactional.
Don't be transactional.
Yeah, be more relationship oriented.
Exactly.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
I used to, one of my old jobs, my boss said that all the time.
Yep.
No, that's awesome. Great point you
Yeah.
brought up there.
Absolutely.
You and I have had conversations in the past about our faith,
Yep.
and I absolutely love talking about it because I've always had faith in God. I would say recently, within the last 6 months, I've really poured down my faith, and I've started to mix the two with God and business, where I kept them separated, and now it's like, if I don't pray before I go to work, I have really frustrated days. But if I sit in my car and just pray to God, tell him how thankful I am, pray for the people around me, pray for massive blessings, and then pray for blessings of other people.
Yep.
I've just noticed that my days, magical things happen. It's I'm saying this on record, magical things happen, and
Yep.
Hey, I don't know. Can you relate?
Yes,
Sometimes,
absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, we had this conversation before, where I'll be very transparent. My relationship with God is not where I want it to be. We had that conversation, and just like you said, man, I was doing life not including God, right? So now I'm inviting God into my business, right?
Yeah.
Inviting God into my life, certain areas of my life. I'm inviting God. For example, my finances. I remember a couple years back, I had some credit card debt, right? I wasn't using I wasn't financially savvy. So I prayed to God about that, and now I'm on a better track.
Sure.
Because I invited him into that area of my life. So faith, I feel like faith in business is just it goes together. It's hand in hand.
Yeah.
It's hand in hand. And entrepreneurship, I was literally just watching this video earlier. Entrepreneurship is very spiritual.
Very.
It's very spiritual. Because you have to have faith even when you don't see that. You have to have faith, right? You have this big vision for yourself. You know where you want to take your family, right? You know the legacy that you want to live for your kids. You know what you want your last name to you want your last name to mean something. But without God, none of that's going to happen. God has to be the foundation, and you have to include God in everything that you do.
Right.
You have
And
to include
sometimes our plans and God's plans are two different plans.
Exactly.
Sometimes he'll look at our plans and, we'll want A, B, and C, and he'll laugh. And he'll go, no, I have a plan for you. And his plan is always better.
Exactly.
But we think our plan, we think, once I hit this number, once I secure this deal, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be there. I'm going to arrive, But no, I think you put a good point. You got to make God your foundation.
Correct.
Especially in a world, in a world full of uncertainty.
Yes.
Yep. There's definitely darkness and light in this world.
Oh yes, absolutely, man. And just to add, one of my favorite verses is Jeremiah 29 verse 11, right, where it talks about how God has a hope for you. He wants you to prosper. He wants you to have a better life. So why wouldn't you include him in all those certain areas of your life? You know what I mean? So yeah, just wanted to add that point.
Dude, that's excellent. That's excellent. I think we're going to conclude here. But hey, Kenson, can you go ahead and tell the audience how they could reach you on your socials, your whatever method you prefer?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for having me, man. This was a blast. I look forward to doing this again. You guys can reach me on LinkedIn, Kenson Jean Charles. I'll spell it out: KensonJeanCharles. You can reach me on Instagram, Kenson_J Charles. I don't know if I can give my number or.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, my number is plastered on the internet.
Okay, got you. Okay. My cell is 561-567-2655. So yeah, you guys can connect with that way. I look forward to connecting with anybody that reaches out, and let's make some magic happen, man.
Kenson, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sacrificing your Thursday evening to come hang out with us here at Sky Media Ventures. You've been an absolute pleasure. God bless you, sir, and let's change the world.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me.
Bye, guys.
All right.